It's time to cook with Susan Beck. Today I'm going to make for you Cheddar Bay Biscuits. These are kind of a knockoff recipe of the biscuits that you get at Red Lobster. You can also buy them in a box in the grocery store where all you really have to do, I think, is add milk and cheese to it and they're ready to go. But this, again, is a little healthier when you make them yourself. So today we will be making them with cheddar cheese. We have some baking powder, garlic powder, butter, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of salt, and a cup of flour. I am making half a batch of this recipe because it makes 18 biscuits, which are quite a few biscuits, really. So we should get 8-9 nice-sized biscuits out of this today. Your first thing you would want to do is to melt your butter. This is 1/2 stick of butter, or a 1/4 cup, and I have already taken care of that part. The next thing is to put your dry ingredients into the bowl. So I'm going to add a cup of flour and 1½ teaspoons of baking soda. Sorry, this is baking powder. Baking powder. Most biscuits are baking powder biscuits. So again, baking powder. 1½ teaspoons of garlic powder. 1½ teaspoons of sugar. So the garlic powder, the garlic powder, the salt, and the baking powder all are 1½ teaspoons. For the salt, we are only going to use ½ of a teaspoon. And then I do want to whisk together my dry ingredients very, very well. In fact, this would be a good recipe possibly to even use your sifter for. In fact, I think I'm going to do that. The reason for sifting is because baking powder, unlike baking soda, can have an aluminum or metallic kind of taste to it. And the better that is mixed in with the flour, the less apt you are to have that taste. So I am going to run this through my sifter. My salt was a coarse salt, so it doesn't go through super well. I have to work it through there. All right, a little bit here that fell through the bottom already. Let's run it through one more time. All right, we are now set to add our wet ingredients to that. So to do that, we're going to be making a well in the middle. So there's our well, or just our little hole in the center. And into there will go our ½ of a stick of butter that has been melted, that's a 1/4 cup, plus a ½ cup of milk. And then we want to mix, just like you would for muffins or any other quick breads, just until the flour is all moistened. We do not want to overbeat a biscuit. Last ingredient is a ½ cup of shredded cheddar cheese. You can buy this already shredded if you'd like. Today I am shredding my own. So a ½ cup of shredded cheddar cheese, and then I'm just going to give that a little fold, just kind of flipping it over to get cheese throughout the batter. We will be dropping these by spoonful onto our cookie sheet here. I am going to line my cookie sheet with parchment paper. And I am also going to take a little piece of that parchment to store my my cheddar cheese in. But I would store my Swiss cheese in this same manner. If I wrap that up in parchment paper and put that into a Ziploc bag, I find that that stores really nicely compared to just keeping it in that plastic that it comes in when you purchase it. So, little storage tip. I want to give my cookie sheet just a little spray, although these usually have butter in there, kind of ooze and melt, and I'm highly unlikely to have them stick to my pan anyway. And then I just have a tablespoon or a large soup spoon, and I will just dot those across the cookie sheet here. You can decide how large you would like to make them. Like I said, this recipe says that if I did this half batch, which I did, I should get about 9 of these. Maybe I made mine a little too big. I'm not sure I'm going to make it to 9 here. You can like steal from these a little bit. All right, we will have 7 biscuits today after we bake these. Our Cheddar Bay biscuits will bake for about 10 minutes until golden brown in a 425 degree oven. Oh, look at these golden Cheddar Bay biscuits. Let's finish them off with a little melted butter and parsley. So I'll just use my pastry brush here to brush on some butter. No need to serve any more butter at the dinner table then, between the butter and the recipe and the butter going on the top. These are just so, so tasty. All right, a little shake of parsley on them just to make them look pretty. Again, this part would be completely optional. I'm gonna serve them up for dinner tonight in a little basket here. If I place them in this basket, then they can be kind of folded over with the towel to keep them warm until we're actually all sitting down and ready to eat. 7's a nice number when there's 3 of us at dinner. 2 for everybody for dinner and 1 for me right now. These are still piping hot. Oh, they're just light and airy in there. And you know, my favorite part is that garlic. I just love the garlic in there. Of course, I love anything with cheese, so that cheddar cheese is really good too. And they're just really, really buttery. I mean, there's no way you can't enjoy these. Yeah, I suggest you try these at home. It's a little less expensive to make them yourself. You don't have the added preservatives. And I think you'll find it's just as easy.